handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth. What's up? Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. It's Thursday, January 8th, and we're watching this rejection here that we talked about off the Golden Pocket. Yesterday, we talked about the dynamic reactor would be the target if we broke out of there. We're trying to hold it right now. Right now, Alex O, I just watched him over on his channel longing this wick right there, longing that wick. He's in a long. I also saw, oddly enough, in the chat right before I started the show, I saw in Alex O's chat that someone just said lifer is short. So lifer is shorting, Alex O is longing, and yeah, there you go. That should tell you everything you need to know about who you watch on YouTube. Guys, you know what time it is. We got some stuff to go over today. We got some news. There's some news. Coinbase going to war with banks. Trump going to war with the world. Tim Walz going to war with America. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Strap in. Who knows what the hell's going to happen, but we're going to break down everything you guys need to know today. Get your notebooks out. Class is in session. Let's do this. Good morning to everyone that's joining us here. We got the Otter gang rolling on here. There's a herd of otter. There's a herd of otters running in here to join the alumni, and I appreciate everyone that joins us here every morning. You guys are why I get out of bed and do this every day instead of just getting out of bed and going down to the beach because I'm on permanent vacation. Had two choices. Chose to be here with you guys. Plus, OC would get lonely without me. So drinking his coffee. What's up, OC? Let's drink some coffee together. Good morning. I got my JV Violet cup today. Got my JV Violet cup, koala coffee. So
it's a freaking awesome koala coffee. And by the way, this is my very first time I'm able to successfully draw a picture of my coffee. So that's a big milestone for me. I always do unintentionally penises. I did that.
Did you say you do occasionally penises? What?
No, that I don't know where you heard that, but yeah.
Oh my Lord. Wick's wife is at 2029 yet. Retro Mike Tech said, bro, I'm just saying, man. So I gotta tell you a story, OC. On my chart, over here on my chart. You see this little right here, this little tick mark right there, that little alert. You see that? Right there.
Yeah.
So that's my alert for where I am in profit, right? If I have my average buy cost, my average amount of average cost on Bitcoin, and I set it up as an alert. So if I ever hit it, then I know that my DCA is in profits, right? So I set it up. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me get this set up. There we go. Bam. And I look at it like last night, for example, I'm just going to look here. I set it up and it was at like 95,393 or something like that. Or no, 95,193. And so this morning I wake up and it's 95,134 when I look at Coinbase. And I'm like, what the hell? I did my purchase last night. I put it on X. I said, everyone's cleared as short. I did my DCA for the week. Now it's going to sell off, and I'll be damned if it didn't just sell off right afterwards. But anyway, I digress. I said, why is it taking so long for Coinbase to show me what my average buy price is after I buy? And then my brain said, dude, you're a dumbass. This is why. What OC, if I buy Bitcoin, do my limit order buy, right? Market maker all the way, and it gives me my average amount. Why is it changing over time?
Because of your profits.
Huh?
Because of your profits.
No, like this is my average cost. I make a purchase on Bitcoin and it says, here's your average price. Why does that keep dropping, OC?
Because you're buying lower.
What if I haven't made any purchases?
You wouldn't be on profits anymore because you wouldn't buy it lower. You wouldn't average down your entry price.
Do you know what's averaging me down?
Why
my brain said I'm a dumbass?
What is it then? I
It's
don't
my
know,
Coinbase
95?
credit card.
Oh,
My 4% in
oh,
Bitcoin keeps lowering my average.
holy
And
dude, that's
I didn't
fantastic.
like, and I know that it's giving me 4% Bitcoin. I know that it's giving me 4% Bitcoin. Exactly. JB Smash got it, the credit card. Bro, it was like, I was like, why is it taking so long for Coinbase to average out my purchase and give me my new number? It's because it's going to keep on changing because I use my Coinbase credit card for everything and it gives me back 4% in Bitcoin. And so my Bitcoin keeps going lower and lower. It's pretty it's pretty awesome, and how cool that is, and it's pretty amazing how dumb I was to not understand that all of my 4% in Bitcoin rewards was lowering my average. So oh, good Lord. It was hard. It was hard. I looked at myself in the mirror and said, "You are a dumbass." That's what I did. So, OC, what are we looking at on the chart today? Let's go ahead and bring that up, get that rolled out, and then we'll get into all the news. But yeah, there you go, guys. You guys think I'm a genius. I'm not. I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm not. I'm just a dumb old dusty grunt from the military. So there you go.
So let's get it started here. And guys, guess what? This is exactly where we left out yesterday. If you haven't made an entry, this is a good area to make an entry. Remember, always with a risk. Not only that, we have four of our best indicators. We have dynamic reactor hit. We have also pivots hit right here. This is what I want to show you. Look at that right in the golden area. So pivots hit. And also we have our last and best indicator, Alexa Crypto also bought. Not just kidding. But I mean, he also did it. Something important to note: we already have the flip of the ribbon, or we are about to have the flip of the ribbon. So if you haven't bought, still you are still in time. All right. Another important thing that I lead me to entry already. It is our power bar. If you guys remember, we explained the power bar yesterday. And I mentioned, hey, I love this power bar because this is always early. It's almost never on the bottom, and that's fantastic because once they start hitting color and then you see discoloration, like for example right here, that's the first discoloration. Look at the price action. Look at that price action, right? So it warned you, it told you, hey, you know what? We're getting closer. Hey, we're getting closer. Hey, we're getting closer. Hey, we're getting closer. And then we have discoloration. Look at your discoloration area right there. So on the next candle, right here. And then you have your movement. It's not a guaranteed movement, especially when we have big resistances. But right now, we all should be into a long position. So once again, if you haven't done it, I think this is a fantastic area. You can still wait for the next candle, which is going to consolidate with what it seems to be an elongated flip of the ribbon, like in here. All right. And always use a stop loss. When my stop loss, it is somewhere around 88, 288. Just so you know, it's not exactly my stop loss. My stop loss, it's closer to this wick right here. So it is just a little bit higher. So it's somewhere around here. But as long as you put it somewhere in this ballpark, I think you are good. All right. Very important. We were planning for this bounce to start happening like this, right? So we have it marked since yesterday. All right. And remember that your target is good, or we're going to be looking for this area of resistance in a newly formed order block. I don't know if we have that order block, but it makes sense that we start seeing that order block being allocated at the top, especially to create a lower high. Let's take a look at my indicators or our indicators to see if we have that order block or anything else. And for that, let me just clear this up so we have a clean picture and it doesn't overlay the spaghetti. Look at that. We have our quantum reactor already in green, that little purple, which is still waiting for that candle to close. It's always purple at the end, except when it's gray. And it's gray, it means indecision. So far, we are good for that long. Very important again, guys. If you're looking for, there it is. Look at those. If you're looking for your order blocks, and this is what I was about to mention, this soft order block that we see here could be rejecting the price action. And look at that. I mean, it's right on the spot in between those two order blocks, meaning that most likely the first order block is going to act as a speed bump, right? And then our newly word found or learned, rumble stripes, right? Rumble stripes.
Rumble strips.
Rumble strips. Rumble strips.
Yes.
Keep learning. Keep learning.
We're teaching English to OC lately. This is our new class that OC and I do on the side.
Absolutely, guys. By the way, if you see me speaking, mistranslating, or doing something like that, please let me know in the side chat. I always appreciate a good lesson of English, and I'm always open to learn. So do not be shy and correct me in the side chat. That always brings me joy because I am learning from you guys, from the experts. So let's get it. At this point, remember the very first resistance is going to be here. I don't think it's going to be as strong to push the price all the way down. But I do believe that this is going to make a little bit of a reaction. It's going to be a rumble strip, a rumble stripping here. That is going to lower the speed of Bitcoin. And then right at the edge of the loud order block, and look at that loud order block, it's 73% bearish, but also look at its allocated volume. That's what it makes it a loud order block. It's allocated volume, which is 737,000 approximately, right? Last time it was calculated. So be careful. We might be looking for a lower high. That will also make sense, especially since we are below the zero line and since we are going low on our money flow. And well, we are still trending. So do expect maybe just one more week. So again, if you haven't entered into a long position, if you want to wait, you could be getting a just slightly better price or missing the movement. So I know this last sentence was a little confusing, but remember, we are always in that risk. So whenever you wait for a better price, you can either get it or miss it, right? Because we already have all of the conditions done for that trade. So let's take a look at once again, how is our trade doing? It's barely on profits, but don't worry, we keep track on that. Something important that I want to go over really quickly before I throw it back to you. It's an XRP trade that we were expecting to jump in early. Remember that we were having a half of a position here and another half of a position right down there. So we are in the very first half of a position. And then we're looking for the next target to be somewhere around 204 as we have the flip of the ribbon. And look at your bar. And this is exactly when I mentioned the bar yesterday night. So we are bright and we have already our diamond shift in here, which is an early reversal, right? And we have our next less of a pigmented or less of a brighter, dimmer power bar right down here, but we don't quite have that thick flip of the ribbon. So give it a second thought. If you want to jump in a little bit lower, I think we're also going to be bouncing here if Bitcoin start moving, right? That's why we went for a half a position, and my other half of a position is still open, just so you know. So that's what I got so far. Let me pass it over to you, Piper.
Awesome. Shout out to Alex O Crypto. I hope that Baby Otter is okay. Alex O had a little incident this morning with the Baby Otter hitting his head. So I hope that he's okay. You're still here talking to me, so I'm going to assume that he's doing all right. But let's go get into the news. Shout out to all the everyone in the chat. Appreciate y'all being here, man. And shout out to Trade Intuition dropping 5 Piper Academy gifted memberships. Shout out to all of the new alumni. Guys, if you got one of those 5 memberships at Trade Intuition, bingo, bango, just dropped there, that gives you full access to the Discord. That little membership. So make sure you guys get over there, check it out, look around. We got a lot of great stuff in there. JR dropping some trade setups, but most importantly, we've got the Piper plan over there, giving you your DCA levels. So his new favorite sport is front flips off the couch. Yep, that's kids for you, man. That is kids for you. All right, let's go jump in on the
I'm
news.
Not a dad.
Yeah,
Alex, I'm not a dad or anything, but we have kind of like a tradition here in Mexico where all of Mexicans that drops their baby, right, face on, and you can tell because 99% of the Mexicans, fact, well, not a fact, but have a scar right here because we broke our skin on the way down. So don't worry, we all came out fine. So don't give it a second.
we're all fine.
Well, fine.
Let's go see if everything else is fine. Let's check out the news. Looking here at the news today, guys, into the Cryptoverse metrics. How are we looking on the crypto market cap this morning? It's currently sitting at 3.09. I want to refresh that. Is that correct? Little change, maybe? Yep, $3.091 trillion is the total current crypto market cap. Trend on this is sitting at 4.664 trillion. We're currently undervalued by 33.73% on the fair value of the total crypto market cap. Looking at the current wristbands on Bitcoin sitting at 41.3. This is a range that we typically find a send to the upside throughout the cycle. But remember, when we're on the downtrend, we can sit in this for quite a while. So don't get too excited about it yet. We need to break some levels first. How about Bitcoin dominance? And we will be forwarding over today to Crypto Princess. She's doing a premiere video today on Bitcoin dominance. So make sure you guys stay tuned after this to follow over there and get that info, to get that knowledge. But with stable coins right now, Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 58.42%. Without stables, it's at 64.6, losing that 65% level there. Liquidations for the past 24 hours. In the past 24 hours, 131,284 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at 434 point, changed, $435.21 million. Largest single liquidation order happened on Hyperliquid Bitcoin. It was a small one this time, only $2.99 million. If you guys are watching Zcash, this just happened this morning, and Crux dropped a little thing about here's what just happened with Zcash. The entire electric coin company, Zcash's core development team since 2016, left due to governance breakdowns with the Zcash Foundation's bootstrap board. 25 contributors resigned, including the CEO, Josh Swihart, Chief Scientist, Chelsea Comlow. My take, highly manipulated project. Don't take part in anything that the team starts next. That's Crux's opinion on it. He's probably right. He does a lot of research on this stuff. But yeah, guys, Zcash taking a big hit today, and we'll see that here in a little bit when we look at the charts. How about fear and greed today? We're sitting at 28, still in fear. We've moved down. We were almost into neutral, and now sitting back in fear on the fear and greed. Also, we'll go over this in a little while. I got an article on it. Trump is going after the housing market. If you guys haven't heard, Trump banned single family home purchases by institutional investors. But is this really is this lip service, or is there really anything that's going to come out of this? Because let's take a look here at what TXMC said. Actually, Logan said it, but TXMC replied to it. Institutional ownership as a percentage of total single family housing stock, about less than 1%. It's 0.56% is of total single family home in the United States owned by institutional ownership. So I think a lot of lip service going on there, in my opinion, and that's what we're seeing. You guys remember this well yesterday? This one here, this guy, I told you yesterday, I said, hey, we got well wars going on. There's one well with the 40x short with 358 Bitcoin, and another one with 20x long with 980 Bitcoin, and they're going out head to head, playing leverage chicken. As the market continued to slide, the one that was long closed all 3,846 Bitcoin long positions, losing $3.5 million in that well game. So he lost a game of chicken. Stock market, how's it looking this morning? Let's refresh that. Looking at TradFi, Dow Jones, S&P, and the NASDAQ. Dow Jones is currently up about 0.3% today. Going to be hitting new record highs again, man. I'm telling you, Dow Jones is on fire right now. S&P sitting pretty flat, 0.02. NASDAQ is down over 0.5%. Russell 2K is up 0.75%, meaning we've got a lot of retail gamblers in the markets today. Volatility index down slightly, but in below that 17, so not looking too bad there. Bonds market, we're seeing the 10-year Treasury yield pump back up again after yesterday it was a dump, meaning people were buying. Now they're selling it off. It's back up to 4.179% for the U.S. 10-year yield. Gold, silver, copper, platinum, and palladium all to the downside today. Gold just slightly. Silver down about 3%. Copper's down 1.65. Platinum and palladium both down in the 1% range for platinum, and then down almost about flat neutral for palladium right there is what we're seeing on the metals. Look at the crypto bubbles. There you go. Zcash down 10% today. Bitcoin down 0.8%. Ethereum's down 1.9. Big movers. XRP down 3.8. Dogecoin down 3. Tron is flat and neutral after a green day yesterday. Cardano's down about 2.6. Bitcoin Cash picking up. It looks like some of that sell-off happening with some Zcash, maybe. I don't know. Chainlink is down 1.2%. Monero also picking up that stable coin sell-off from Zcash down 10.9, and Monero picking it up at 4.8%. A lot of people swapping over there, it looks like. Leo token, pretty flat right now, slightly to the upside, about 0.5%. Stellar Luma's down just a little bit. SWE is down 2%. Ethena, the USD, we're seeing it hold back to $1 again. That's good. And then Litecoin and Hyperliquid, both sitting in the top 20 there, down 0.7% and 1.9% for Hyperliquid, rounding out the top 20 there on the crypto bubbles. Looking at the balance of trade. So we had a lot of economic data come in this morning. If I put this on Impact One, you'll see it's actually a big list. The so what of this really, if we look at just the two-star impact, we're looking really at the jobless claims and the balance of trade. Balance of trade was expected to be really bad, guys. We're actually seeing this starting to level out right now. Previously revised from 52.8 billion, it went to 48.1. I thought it was going to be negative 58, negative 54. Only came in at negative 29.4. So we are seeing that balance of trade start to level out a little bit there. Balance of trade, meaning your imports versus exports, 302 billion versus 331 billion. Getting a nice little leveling out, slow down on imports, an increase of exports. And then, of course, we got initial jobless claims for the week. This is how many people filed for unemployment this week. The unemployment this week was at 208,000. It wasn't revision. What was it originally? 199,000 last week. And then it went to 200,000 on a revision this morning. They thought it was going to be 210, maybe 205. Came in at 208, right in between consensus and forecast. So more people filing for unemployment this week than last week. And the non-farm productivity quarter over quarter was a revision also, 3.3. They rose it up to 4.1. Consensus would be 3% in that range. Forecast 2.9, pretty much close to 3%. Came in much higher, 4.9%. So not seeing too much change there today. This news today does enforce that we are likely going to see no rate cut in January. I will say that. But the real data that everyone's waiting for, and you're going to see some volatility today off of this, guys. I promise you, you're going to see volatility today. Why? Because people are really waiting for tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to get non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate for December. Right now, unemployment's at 4.6. They're expecting that it'll be 4.5 or 4.6, either slightly lower or coming in flat and neutral. And the non-farm payrolls expected to have a severe drop. So this will be very bearish for the economy, and it will also reinforce that we probably may see that rate cuts come in quicker than one in 2026. So that's what we're going to be watching tomorrow. We'll break all of this down when we go live tomorrow morning for you guys. What do we have next week? We're going to get inflation data. Next week, they're saying core inflation year over year is at 2.6%. Don't know where they're buying their groceries at. But yeah, 2.6% for the year over year, and then an inflation rate not core looking to be slightly lower. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know where they're paying their auto insurance at or where they're getting their groceries from, but I am not really seeing much change in the world of that. So shout out to Hachi. What's up, Tobias? How you doing, man? Zcash developers left. Yep, I saw that. The team that left and the team that started deserve another look each separately. Dave Digital says he's talking about Zcash still. Yes. Yep, cool. All right, we're up to date there. Let's go look at the Fed Watch tool, see how we're looking for a chance for a January rate cut, guys. Right now, 88.4% chance that we do not get a rate cut. We pause for January. Of course, our next rate cut's not going to be, FOMC is not going to be until March 18th. So we got quite a while. There's no meeting in February. Let's look at this. Trump says U.S. to ban large investors from buying homes. Again, I think this is a lot of lip service. For a very long time, buying and owning a home was considered the pinnacle of the American dream. It was the reward for hard work and doing the right thing. But now, because of record high inflation caused by Joe Biden and the Democrats in Congress, that American dream is increasingly out of reach for far too many, especially younger Americans. Um, it is for that reason and much more that I'm immediately taking steps to ban large institutions from buying more single family homes. Again, 1%. 1%. You want to fix this problem. Don't worry about what institutions are buying because they're not really buying the home. If you want to fix this problem, tell the states to get rid of the red tape. Because I watched a video about 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago. I went on a vacation to Europe since then. Um, Graham Stephan selling houses and getting out of California housing market because the red tape is costing him money. So you want to get more houses built, cut down on the amount of red tape that counties and states need for individuals to open up like a dual income property, and then you'll add a lot more housing to the market. It's really a supply and demand, guys. That's it. If you have more demand than you have supply, the prices will be higher, aka welcome to inflation. So it's not about how many houses and institutions are buying. It's how freaking hard it is to get a house built or to make a property an income property with all the county, state, city red tape. Fix that, and you'll do a lot more than this 1% that you're addressing of home ownership being under institutions. So oil ship seized by the U.S. over Venezuela sanctions was newly registered under a Russian flag. If you guys didn't see this, this happened yesterday. U.S. said Wednesday that in its attempt to blockade sanctioned oil exports from Venezuela, it seized two tanker ships, one which is a newly registered ship under the Russian flag. The ship is now named the Marinera. The Marinera, as yes, one Russia has reflagged to join its dark fleet. So, yeah, he's now capturing vessels out there. Welcome to the American Pirate Program, led by Buck. If Buck is in here, or if he watches this later, look, America getting into the pirate game. We're just seasoned ships out there, man. Bank of America upgraded Coinbase as it aims to become the everything exchange. And this is pretty important, guys, because right now, Coinbase is trying to get into the banking world. They're trying to get into the loan world. They're trying to get into stocks. They're doing a bunch of stuff. They want to become the everything exchange. And why this matters is the banks said, hey, can we go back in time, reopen the Genius Act, and take another look at the exchanges being able to offer yield on their stablecoins? It's war. There's a war going on right now over our money and us being able to make money off of that money between banks versus exchanges. And I think at the end of the day, I don't see every major city in the world having a bank skyrise tower in their downtown with Coinbase on it. I do see JP Morgan Chase. I do see, Wells Fargo and Bank of America. That's all your money. Your money built that building. They don't have money. They don't have a freaking product. They make their money off of the money you put in the bank that you make no yield on. So, yeah, go for it, Coinbase. Crush the banks. Fight the lobbyists. I don't want to have to sit there and go, well, I have no place to put my money to make money when I'm sitting on dry powder because the bank's going to give me 0.000015% for using my money. And if I do anything wrong, smack me with $30 in fees. Screw the banks. There you go. I'm debanking you, banks. I'm going to stick with Coinbase and let them keep growing or whatever other exchange out there happens to get it. It don't even have to be Coinbase, but I want options for my money to make me and go to work for me, not build you a skyrise tower in downtown. That's all I got to say about that. All right, Bitcoin price predictions. We'll jump back to that in a bit. Let's go over and check out the chart right now, though, and get in on what I'm watching on Bitcoin because right now we are getting this bounce off of the dynamic reactor on the 4 hour, getting that drop down off of that 618 golden pocket. We came down. We tried to hold the 0.66 here. Didn't happen. What happened? We broke through it. This was the level I was watching. And last night when I bought, it was because of this level was holding up. And I was like, you know what? I said this level might be a little bit of support. We did have a bounce back here. There's a lot of liquidity in this little area. Let's go ahead and let's do the purchase. And I said on X, well, you guys go ahead then. And you can short now because I'm pretty sure it's going to drop. And I'll be damned, guys. 30 minutes later, this thing started coming down, but it did come down to the level I talked about yesterday. That squeezed, pinched little dynamic reactor right there. We did wick kind of pretty far below it, but I do think that not being able to get back up here, if we do come up, look for a rejection at about $91,000. But if we're not able to get back up there, where I'm watching for us to come down to is going to be between 88.5 to 87.8. So in that ballpark is going to be the area to watch, in my opinion, on Bitcoin. Let's go over here and take a look at Blackie Chan's super chat. If you want cheaper family homes, you need to fight with local government zoning and get starter homes back on that are like 900 square foot instead of a big old homes. Facts, Blackie Chan. But it's still again, you got to fight with your local government. It's all the red tape that's causing a problem. I talking to my son about that the other day. We were going through an older area in outside of Dallas here, and I said, see all these homes here, these little small brick homes? These were the homes that grandma and grandpa were buying for 2 nickels and a raspberry back in the day when people talk about that. They were not these big homes that you have today with modern amenities. They were older homes, built great bones. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. But they were older, smaller, very compartmentalized homes with small bedrooms. You did not see the houses that you have today with, hey, look at my big open concept. I can play basketball in here, and my bedroom is big enough for me to put an office in it, and my bedroom, and I've got an area over there with display. Like that stuff didn't exist at that price. So, yeah, let's get back to building some of those smaller homes like that when houses were cheaper and will be able to be sold at today's inflation rate at a much lower price level. So, like 35 is Dave Digital's. It took him this long to hit the like button. This long to hit the like button, but it took him 30 seconds to attack me on chat. So I love you, Dave Digital. Love you much. All right, OC, what are you watching for on the on Bitcoin? What for 2026? What are you thinking, man? What are you thinking?
All
2026.
right.
Because we're going to get into this article that's the headline today. We're going to get into this article and talk about the bold Bitcoin predictions for 2026. And some of them are going to shock you. What's your thoughts?
All right, so we're still within the same breaking point, right? The truth of the matter is that we broke the channel long time ago. We called it out here, right? The huge big channel breakout, and we only had 2 options at the moment: flat positive bearish continuation or breakout retest, which is the same one. All right, we just exactly, or fake out, right? Where we make a little range and then we bounce back up, break the channel, come back into the channel, and make an all new time highs. So the Hopi right now wants me to push on the old new time highs, and that is because I don't want to see a higher lower market, right? So bear market. But the truth of the matter is that we're not near to breaking back inside that channel. And well, we're still fighting it, and the clock is ticking. It's almost 1 week into February. I mean, January. It's 1 week on January, and we don't see the pump that I was expecting. Not because I'm not expecting something means that it's bad or anything. It's just taking longer. So if you put a gun to my head, I would say that this is going to be a shorter cycle. Is we are jumping into the bear market. The bear market is going to be dramatic, but not as dramatic as before. We're going to see more money flowing out, but less of a percentage going downwards. And based on that, well, then we're going to have a quote unquote maybe sooner recuperation. Not quite there yet, making an elongated cycle, but giving the the entry for what is an elongated cycle next cycle. So I think we're falling in between the cycle is still intact and the elongated cycle theory.
Okay.
And for price
So
predictions,
yeah, price. I
2026
want
and the
what
20
price?
all right, 2026 predictions, I would say lows or just closing 2026.
Okay.
Which
Whatever. What you want?
all right,
Whichever.
low 70s and closing 2026 hundreds.
Okay. Okay, I can go with that. Let's go get into the article. We'll talk about that, and then we'll come back and I'll show you on the charts what I'm looking at. Um, overall, I think you're probably pretty close, OC. Shout out to RJ Dejan. He said, bearish minds get left behind. No, bearish minds protect capital, RJ. I sold everything at $126,000 within $200 from the top, sold everything, and immediately started a dollar cost average while I'm holding all of my profits. Protect your profits. That's the name of the game. That is the name of the game. Protect your profits. If you don't protect your profits in your round trip, all of that work was for nothing. All of that money was wasted time that you could have been doing other things with it, like yield earning on it. But yeah, I immediately started to dollar cost average in for exposure. Bears that don't want exposure, they get left behind. Accumulation is the best regardless direction. Yes, accumulate. Exactly. Protect your gains and continue to accumulate. That's exactly what I did. I just want to clarify. I didn't sell everything at 126 and say I'm out, I'm done. No, I immediately started to dollar cost average in. Matter of fact, my average price right now from 126 to now is at 95,000. So, okay, you're 92% cash. There you go. Perfect. See, RJ's got it, man. That's exactly it. Yeah, I'm also I'm a little bit lower than you right now, but that's because I have some money sitting over in Nvidia and some AI plays that have been doing really well for me. But yeah, we're in the same boat there, bro. Let's go take a look at this article, OC. Get this broken down, and then I'll pull up the chart and we'll talk about what I'm watching there. Not the right one. That's OC. That's me right there. There we go. Boldest Bitcoin predictions for 2026 are in. There you go, OC. From $75,000 to $225,000. Industry executives and investors forecast a wide range of prices for Bitcoin in 2026, dropping as low as $75,000. Well, look at that on the chart. Remember that number. And rising as high as $225,000. Much love, RJ. I appreciate that, bro. He said, I did the same from watching your show. I appreciate you, RJ. You're awesome, dude. We're glad to have you in the alumni, man. Um, Commentators who spoke on CNBC expect big volatility in Bitcoin next year. Alex O has got to be extremely happy for that because he loves volatility. It's where he makes his money. Lower interest rates are among the factors cited that could support the price of cryptocurrency. Let's get into this. After an all-time high and a big tumble for Bitcoin last year, industry executives and investors told CNBC that the cryptocurrency could reach new heights in 2026, but with potential for huge volatility. And the annual roundup as low as 75,000 again and as high as 225. Last October, though, Bitcoin hit a record high of over 126,000 before falling later in the year to lows around 80,000. That was in 2025, so long ago. So long ago in October of last year. Now that we're in 2026, this was last year, bro. Last year's crypto market was buoyed by what was viewed as a more favorable regulatory environment in the U.S. under President Donald Trump and increasing interest from larger institutional investors and traditional financial players like banks. I'm still wondering where our Bitcoin treasury is at, though. But anyway, I digress. Meanwhile, there was a boom in so-called digital asset treasury DAT companies, which accumulated large amounts of Bitcoin also. Let's get down here to the actual calls. So Carol Alexander, she's saying $75,000 bottom, $150,000 top. OC, how do you feel about that one?
I agree. I mean, that's pretty in the same ball if we get a shallow bear market.
Okay. RJ says 182 will be the sweet spot record. Record the day. That'll be the sweet spot. Is he saying 182? I'm actually a little bit higher. I'm going to show you if we do continue to the upside, where I actually think it's a little bit higher than 150. So we'll look at that in a minute. With the center of gravity being around $110,000, which by the way would just be 110,000 in 2026 would just be a relief rally, low or high. That's as the market digest transitions from retail-led cycles to institutionally distributed liquidity. Historically, Bitcoin's price has been driven by retail traders, but over the past 2 years, an increasing number of institutional investors have been involved in the space. Many cryptocurrency experts expect this to continue this year. I actually disagree on this. Yes, we've had some institutions, but like Marathon, they sold off a shit ton of their Bitcoin, man. And we've seen the institutions divest that back into the community. We're done. Okay, we took some profits here. I think that a lot of the institutional buy up that you see uh, is retail using institutions as their doorway. Stockholders, stuff like that, buying in. That's where I think a lot of the institution. I don't think the institutional investment adoption rate is there yet for that to keep Bitcoin from selling off in bear cycles and midterm cycles. But I do think it will lessen how much it sells off. Alexander had a good track record in her Bitcoin predictions over the last few years, but she previously said Bitcoin would hit $200,000 in 2026, which did not materialize. She did, however, say that the summer of 2025, Bitcoin could be trading around 150,000 plus or minus 50K. Well, cool. Look at you. Look at you giving a 33% buffer there on your call. CoinShares $120,000 to $170,000 of where CoinShare thinks it's going to hit. That's James Butterfield, head of research for crypto-focused asset manager CoinShares. Butterfield said investors will be watching to see who the new chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve is after Jerome Powell tenure ends in May. And I think that he's got he's looking at macro stuff here. And I think he's got a really good point there, but I don't know that that's going to be a catalyst to do this in 2026. We'll have to see. Investors are also focusing on whether a piece of legislation in the U.S. known as the Clarity Act will actually become law in 2026. That's going to depend on how quickly they get that done, because if they wait for midterms, I saw on Polymarket yesterday, Eric Wallen, shout out to him, he dropped that. It was like it was a blue sea coming in midterms. So according to that, so we'll have to see if they get this done before midterms, and then of course after midterms probably won't happen. You're going to have a lot of blue in the House and Senate. Standard Charter, who are wrong way more than they're right, says $150,000, which was cut in half on their previous call of $300,000 by December. Yeah, can't make it up. They're way off there. Maple Finance says $175,000. Sidney Powell, CEO of Maple Finance, they have a target of 175 for Bitcoin this year. Again, they're saying interest rate cuts, which we're only getting one of those this year, right as of right now, and then increased institutional adoption of Bitcoin, which I still think is not at that level yet. So, just my opinion, Bitmining, they said $75,000 to $225,000. OC, how do you feel about that one? Because that one's putting it in your range, but a little bit above on the higher end. What do you think about that one?
I think that's a little bit offset. I mean, they're going for the bigger range, right? And dude, that's the whole thing that we're seeing at this point. I would say that that's cheating, but because you're going for a 2-digit to a 3-digit. So yeah, it is way much higher. I do believe that at 225 it's possible if we break back above the range. And that range being breaking back above somewhere around 108, 112.
Oh, so you're just thinking a lower high.
No. I mean, if we break back inside the big range, if we nail it above 100 and let's just say 115, and then we retrace and continue, I think we're gonna hit I don't know, the 170, 50 or something like that.
Okay.
So getting closer.
Okay. Next, though, says 150,000 to $200,000 dollar Bitcoin. Was less a rejection of its long-term thesis and more of a consequence of market mechanics colliding with shifting macro backdrop. So, but 2026 appears more constructive than 2025. They think that 2026 things are going to find a bottom early in pretty much, and then it's going to get a bigger pump. So let's go over and look at the chart. I'll show you what I think we get. I'm thinking bottom side, we hit about 52 to 57. That's based on our average retracement levels. We typically hit 786 every single cycle on retracements, right? 786 has been hit at least. I actually think that the evidence of some institutional buying and the fear of the dollar not being where you want your money sitting at, so that you would get back to, so you can get back to, protecting your wealth. I think that we see less of a drawback. I think we see about a 61 to 66% pullback. That would be $52 to $57,000. Okay, that's what I think. If we do get a bounce, because it's very possible, guys, that we lose our 100-day here. This is our 100-week simple moving average. You see back here, we lost it. It came back up, retried the 52-week, and then went down. If we get up to that level, about 102, okay, and we off of the 100 and we reject there, then I absolutely think this is what's in play. If we get above the 52, stay above the 100, break out above the 52 and find that as support, where do I think we could be going from there? Well, let's go and see, because we had a 75% overshoot previously back here. 75% overshoot of the golden pocket, which, yeah, 74.9%. Every cycle, top side, pulling from previous highs to previous lows to previous highs. So trend-based fib extensions, okay? Like this one was pulled from the low to the high to the low and gave us this, right? Trend-based fib extensions on logarithmic have given us targets every single cycle. That's why when we were back here, I had a target on this of 104 to 118. Pretty damn close to the top over a year out, okay? If we actually look at that 75% overshoot that we've had before, let's go 75% over that. 75% would put us at about 206,000. So I think $200,000 if we get back above here. If this is what we have in this cycle here, and we're going, okay, bottom, 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 and now we get a bounce back up, I think that we do head to around the $200,000 range. Bottom side again, though, guys, I do think 52 to 57 is the range to watch. Oddly enough, if we go over and we look at the master slide, if you guys have never seen this and you're new here, this is Bitcoin's entire history put into a Fibonacci channel. Okay. And so the gold pocket, you can see here, back in 2022, we fought hard to hold this area. We bottomed out in it back in 2020. We bottomed on the golden pocket back in 2015. This has been a strong area for bottom support, right? We're now below it. We've lost that bad boy back in 2022, and we traded between the platinum pocket and the golden pocket. The platinum pocket being this light blue line right here. Now we're in between. Now we're in the platinum pocket. This being the 786, this being the 887 here. Okay, we're in between this. If we go and we look at where we would be at to come back up and retest the top of this, well, let's look. There's March 2026. You're at about 139. Let's go down the line here and we'll just follow this up. There's August being about 184. Go all the way to the end of December. And you're looking at about $250,000, 225 to 250. So we could stay, honestly, come down here and hit the bottom of this. That would be about $79,000, and then start to trade in this channel. And probably by October, that's where I predict the bottom will actually happen at. Hitting that bottom around October, which would not be the low this cycle, but it would be the timeline. I would think that this is somewhere in the range of 175 to 200,000 also. So that's, again, if we get above the 52-week simple moving average, as of right now, we are showing support on the 100-week. So that's what I got there, OC. I know you got to go. You got Chart Prime to run over to. You're 5 minutes over. So go ahead and head out of here, but I appreciate you, man. If you got any thoughts on this, drop it for me. What do you think? Real fast.
Absolutely. Can you drop it to my chart really quickly? It's amazing because we have a different perspective, but ultimately the same macro results, right? So this is what I was saying. We have this little range. If we're able to break back in here and bounce, I think that for now we're going to be doing something like that until we break. And this is my line. The sand is been marked, and I'm looking at somewhere around 156 for the end of the cycle if we are able to do this. If not, if we just range in here and drop basically or reject out of this channel bottom, well, our next target, it is somewhere around here, which is 60K that I was expecting, right? And let me bring up two things really quickly, which is what I've been tracking so far. This is a Wyckoff setup. This is a less known Wyckoff setup, all right? But if you take a look at this, depending on how we measure that, like this, I think that will be appropriate. You'll see, and let me just put it down there. It will be much better. You see that this low coexistence with this low, right? Then this low marks with this low. And then instead of going lower for a spring, we make a range. Guess what it feels like we're making, right? It's not there yet, but if we're able to make a range in here, if we were to make that range, well, then we have the chance to actually go and hit the bottom of this huge channel that we've been talking about, right? Let me hide this picture one more time and then bring this one up. This is the classical Wyckoff that we all know and are familiarized with, right? The only difference, or well, basically there's no difference, but the only let's just say it, different part from the previous one is that we, instead of having the range, and let me just push this to the side, we have the spring. So again, it's not that we have the range, but we have an absorption zone right here at the support area. So that leads me to believe that we might be able to make the range and then shoot to the bottom of this other big range, right? So that's the hopium inside of me. But the truth of the matter is that this is not telling us enough data, because we can still create this previous spring or this next spring low. But yeah, that's what I got.
Awesome. Appreciate you, OC. Get out of here, man. You got to bounce. I know you do. I appreciate you staying over. And I'll talk at you later. Let me go ahead and go to the solo cam, and we'll get everybody out of here. To be clear, guys, I do think that those are both possibilities, 50-50. I don't think it's 50-50. Right now, I'm leaning more towards that we continue to the downside for into this year. At least until May, very likely until October. I'm about 80% sure that we're in the bear market and 20% chance that we pop to the upside overall. But of course, everything can change. We can get, one thing, someone's talking about the SCOTUS, talking about the tariffs, the new Treasury, the new Fed, whatever. All things can change. And when that happens, we just restart the intelligence cycle. We got new data and we start the assessment all over. And we make our calls based on that. No emotions, just data driven. And when that data tells us a story, we should listen. And so we'll wait to see what that data says when it happens. So, guys, appreciate you joining us here today. If you guys got anything of value out of today's show, smash up that like button. And, it helps us out. It's the algorithm. I don't make the rules, man. And if you guys have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell and get notified every time we go live. Tune into OC this evening with Trade Live with OC Guy. Tomorrow morning, BC Port Corp may or may not be doing Good Morning Crypto. He did it this morning again. So make sure you guys tune in for that. 3 shows to most days right here on Piper Academy. So if not, I'll be back here at 10:15 a.m. tomorrow morning, dropping the news, the charts, the markets, everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe. And as always, use some risk management, peace, love, profits. We're heading to Crypto Princess. See you guys up there.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done. You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage. We'll see you at the next one.
What the fuck they're doing?
Morning market report out. Boom shakalaka. We'll see you at the next one. Morning Market Report. We'll see you at the next one. Morning Market Report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude!
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?